Good morning, folks. This is Sam Kofer, Realtor with Exit Realty, and I'm here with my friend and colleague, Miss Sandy Toussaint. Sandy, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Sam. Hello, everyone. How are you?
Good. We're looking to have a good time today. And basically, the idea is to basically just explain and express to people what's going on in the real estate market today. Obviously, we're in unprecedented times, and what I'm trying to do is provide some education to those out there that might be looking for some regarding the real estate industry. So before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us a fun fact or two.
Well, I'm Sandy Toussaint. I am the operations manager at Exit Realty. I've been licensed for 13 years. And although I do wear the manager hat of the company, I do still actively list and sell real estate. So I am on both sides of the fence, administratively as well as on the entrepreneur, independent contractor side.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Let me ask you this. How did you get into real estate?
I love this story. So my first job ever was selling, well, actually, no, it was my second job.
Okay.
After college, I came home during the winter break, and a friend of mine was the manager at Lady Foot Locker. And the whole time we were there, I worked there, she kept saying, I'm getting my real estate license, and I think you'd be really good at selling real estate. You should do it. And I was like,
Sure.
Yeah, no. I want to work with kids. No, thank you. And I worked there for about 2 years, and she went on, she got her license, but she never actively sold.
Okay.
And throughout all of that, she was always telling me, though, you should totally get your real estate license.
Sure.
Fast forward, I moved down to this area. I moved to the DMV about a year or two later after that. And I came down here, and I had a teaching job out in Virginia, and I was absolutely miserable. I hated it.
Sure.
And one day I got a call from a company saying that, they pulled my resume off of monster.com and that they had an administrative position open with Exit Realty.
Okay.
And I was just like, well, I don't know about being an administrator, but where is it? Because at that point I was commuting 2 hours to Dulles.
Wow.
From Bowie. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And that was before the bridge was finished. No one told me about all that when I first got out here.
Right.
And so I was like, where's the position? And they said, Bowie, Maryland. I said, I'll take it. They're like, ma'am, you got to come in for the interview.
Right.
Oh, yeah. So came in and interviewed, and it was a great fit. And I ended up coming on. That's how I ended up coming on with Exit. I came on as an administrative assistant. And fast forward 10 years later, I'm home visiting one weekend, and I run into the girl I used to work with. And she's like, I'm like, hey, are you still doing real estate? And she's like, yeah, I actually just joined with this new brokerage, Exit.
Oh, wow. That's great.
She goes, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I said, I'm a realtor. I've been licensed 10 years.
With Exit.
With Exit.
Right.
Full circle, it was always supposed to be.
Sure.
She planted that seed years ago, and although it wasn't something I saw, that's exactly where I ended up being, right where I was supposed to be planted. So, yeah.
That's awesome. That's a great story. I want some realtors, obviously they jump brokerages, start one place and then go to another. And obviously I feel like every agent has to go where they feel like they can grow and be comfortable, but it sounds like you started with Exit and you've always been with Exit. So why Exit?
I came in really young. I was 21.
Okay.
And I really, at first, again, it was just this cool job. It was something different. I didn't know if I wanted to be licensed or not.
Sure.
But I did know for myself, I wanted I wanted to have a job where it wasn't mundane. It wasn't the same old day to day, because in the teaching world, you've got a schedule, and it's playtime, carpet time, lesson time. And I felt like this just can't be life for me. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
for me. And my very first day, I went and took a picture of like this $800,000 house in Annapolis on the
Okay.
water. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And, you know, and that was in the morning. And then in the afternoon, I was in Waldorf taking a picture of a house that was on a farm. And I was just like, this is so cool. And
Yeah.
throughout the day, just the people that I met, within
Mm-hmm.
3 weeks, I was like, I want to get my real estate license.
Yeah.
I realized it was just so many people in the company that wanted to help me.
Sure.
You know, I pulled a lot from the older people that were in the company that were
Mm-hmm.
already seasoned agents or brokers, and I learned a lot from them. And I've always felt like for me, it was just a sense of family. It was
Sure.
a sense of people who genuinely want to see you grow, people who
Mm-hmm.
genuinely want to help you and see you go to the next level.
Right.
And that was exactly how my journey went. It was from being just an assistant that was like more like a runner to
Sure.
being licensed to 1 year later being an executive assistant and holding
Sure.
that position for 7 years and being a transaction coordinator and then transitioning into an operations manager.
Sure.
And honestly, without, that my community of Exit, agents and brokers and trainers that poured into me and saw things in me that I didn't see within myself.
Yeah.
Um, um, I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of different agents and even just talk to different, administrators from different companies. And I don't typically hear that. I
Sure.
feel like sometimes a lot there's like a spirit of kind of competition where people
Yeah.
don't necessarily always aren't forthcoming with helping you grow or
Right.
genuine there. And
Right.
I feel like I'm walking proof in the industry that Exit does do that for people.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great point. I obviously we work in the same brokerage, and I've had the exact same experience being with Exit. I think it translates to many of the brokerages within the Exit Realty, I guess, family, if you will, nationwide. I mean, that family element of it is important.
Mhm.
You have an incentive to bring someone else up behind you and help teach them and help show them the way. And that's one of the great things I enjoy about Exit as well. So, I mean, that's a great point. You're an active realtor and an office manager. You manage our office here. Um, I want to ask you two questions. One on the realtor side, considering we're dealing with COVID, and you've got a lot of buyers and sellers out there who are uncertain
Mhm.
about these times. What are you seeing as a realtor out there in the streets, so to speak?
Um, Real estate is still moving.
Yeah.
It's still moving.
Hmm.
It's still multiple offer situations. It's still
Yeah.
a here today, gone tomorrow. Um, I honestly think, everyone's home. So
Yeah.
more people have an opportunity to get out to see the house quicker. So they're going quicker. If it's
Hmm.
priced right, if it shows well, it's moving.
Yeah.
I still think it's a great time to buy. The
Yeah.
interest rates are low. If you're in a position, I think people are kind of, just kind of waiting to see like what's going to happen, what's the
Right.
turning point going to be. But if you're in a position to buy and you have the funds and you have the scores, I think it's the time to move and just go ahead.
I
I
agree.
haven't seen really a blimp yet in what it was a quick, turnaround with doing everything virtually.
Sure.
Um, Most people are actually pretty tech savvy, a lot of the younger generation. So
Hmm.
showing a house through video is not difficult.
Yeah.
But it's definitely still moving.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. That's the same thing I'm seeing. And I mean, like you mentioned, interest rates are extremely low. So this would be the time to take advantage of that if you can. I mean, I'm representing buyers and sellers, and it's definitely, I haven't seen a slowdown, if you will, in the real estate market
No, have
as
I?
far as my business is concerned. And I think you say the same thing.
I agree
Let
wholeheartedly.
me ask you this. You as the office manager, how did you end up as the office manager for our office?
I was I originally came on as the transaction coordinator
Mm-hmm.
for the Lancaster team with Carla
Mm-hmm.
Corey, and after goodness gracious, about 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
helping him, grow the team.
Right.
They saw a rapid success, and basically, Corey and Carlos collectively felt as though it would be a great idea to transition me into the office manager
Mm-hmm.
to basically do what I did with helping structure the team with systems and things of that nature,
Sure.
on an office level. And
Mm-hmm.
so it was their grand idea to transition, which I was, I gladly obliged. It was a great
Sure.
opportunity and I took it, but that's how that happened. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, and you definitely do a great job. I mean, you and I have had our experiences working together as well, and you're definitely a great leader. What what drives you to be a great leader? What's your philosophy to be able to do what you do as well as you do it?
um, I am all for giving back.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said earlier, there were people who came before me, who
Right.
pulled me up, who believed in me, who saw more in me than sometimes I saw within myself.
Sure.
And the things that I've had the opportunity of learning in my earlier years of real estate, and even through now, I'm able to take and give back.
Sure.
And at the end of the day, I have a helper's personality, someone who I genuinely take excessive joy in seeing people grow. I love the journey. I
Mm-hmm.
love to see agents come in as the newbies,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then transition into these, $1 million agents. It
Mm-hmm.
and it does something satisfying for me to know that
Yes.
I was able to help with that journey, whether
Yeah.
it be a motivational talk, or teaching a contracts class, or teaching them and helping them troubleshoot through the actual issues of their contracts, which
Sure.
of course I got that experience from transaction coordinating. You
Mm-hmm.
transaction coordinate for 10 years, you go through some things, you learn some
Yeah.
things, you learn some
Yeah.
tricks
Yeah. Yeah.
on how
You've
to
got
get
some war
around.
stories.
Yeah, some more stories.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
But that all goes from, working with brokers and having leaders who were really great and had, experience. One of the
Sure.
brokers I work with, he was in the business 38 years,
Mhm,
so of
mhm.
course he'd have some more stories, um,
Sure,
and he
sure.
taught me well. And what's the point of having that knowledge and keeping it to yourself?
Yeah,
What
yeah,
does it do for you?
yeah,
It's nothing to. It's for me. At the end of the day, I think it's all about giving back. Uh,
yeah,
and if you don't do that, then you've missed the point.
yeah, yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point. Real quick, take us through what your typical day might be. I mean, in the office. Obviously, we're all at home, but generally speaking, what would your typical day look like, being office manager and a realtor?
So typically, I'm a little bit of a workaholic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, First thing, I like to actually check email in the morning before
Okay.
I get my day started. So I meditate. That's the first thing I do in the morning. But
Sure.
I kind of like to take a quick breeze through my emails just to see if there's anything pressing.
Sure.
Um, if there is a pressing matter, my day typically starts before the office.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and that some, as an example, let's just say an agent may have an issue with a deal that they need to get closed at 10 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
today, and there's something going on, and they may need me to step in on. But for the most part, that's the first thing I do. Come in. I always greet everyone in my office, all my staff,
Sure. Yeah,
and
yeah.
go through email. Go through email. Check on the day to days on whatever may be happening that day.
Mm-hmm.
I always keep a rolling, list of what settlements our agents have that week, because I'm
Right.
kind of just checking in to see if anyone has any issues.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the transaction coordinator in me. If there's
Yeah.
sometimes agents don't want to come to you about things until it's too late. So I like
Mm-hmm.
to kind of do some check-in calls and go, hey, I saw you, that you're supposed to have a deal closing this week. Is
Yeah.
that
What's
still
going
on
on?
schedule? And
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot of times they'll be like, oh no, I got XYZ going on. And
Yeah.
I'll troubleshoot and help through that.
Mm-hmm.
I also do trainings. So depending on if I have a training, I may be prepping for a training.
Yep.
And really just pretty much that's my day. In
Yeah.
terms of active clients, I transaction coordinate on all my own deals. So
Right.
I keep those on a time block. I keep my transactions. I normally check in on my transactions from noon to 1 p.m.
Sure.
On whatever's going on with those things, and I'll try to troubleshoot those as well. I keep a really good. I actually am really good at multitasking. So
Okay.
I'm typically working now. I'm like Carlos, and I work off of two computers, a
Yeah, yeah.
laptop and my podcast. So
Yeah.
and that's really it. I keep myself available because we get a lot of walk-ins. So for the most part, I could be in the middle of something, and a lot of times I gotta stop because I may have one of our agents walk in, or it could be a lender that
Sure.
maybe looking to get some training in or come in and give us some trainings. So I
Mm-hmm.
do stay abreast of the market trends, whether it's through title,
Yeah.
whether it's through home inspections, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's through the loan process. Um, I'll go through those, and I also actively work on our social media accounts. So I engage with
Yeah.
the community, with
Mm-hmm.
with the people through our social media as well. So I time block on that as well, where
Sure.
I'm posting on our Instagram, Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Follow us at exitrightrealty.com
Yeah.
on Instagram. And then of course, like I said, if an agent has an issue with a walk-in, then I'll sit down with them and go through whatever issues they may be having.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Are there any feel-good stories or stories that stick out to you in, that make you feel good about what you do, or, something where you were able to help an agent or even a client? Is there anything that sticks out to you that says, okay, yeah, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I feel good about this.
Um, yeah, I guess I got a couple. Let me think. So I had some clients at this point, I want to say about 7 years ago.
Okay.
They came to me, they had gotten scammed. This they did one of those Craigslist rentals.
Oh, wow.
And I got a call from them, and they said, "Hey, we sent you guys the security deposit, and someone was supposed to meet us for the keys today, and no one came."
Huh.
And this was actually before I was with Exit Right. And I said, "Excuse me? That home is for sale, not for rent."
Right.
And they said, "No, no, no, no. We did the entire process through Craigslist. And, we're supposed to meet today at 1 p.m. for the keys."
Sure.
And I was like, I'm sorry. She's like, "Yeah, we already wired over $5,000 for the
Oh,
security deposit
come
and
on.
first month's rent."
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh my God, man. Like, this house is for sale.
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
you would have dealt with me had you had really gone through this process." And
Yes.
I'm telling you. So I went out there and I met them because they were there.
Sure.
She was hysterical, and I was like, "Yeah, they had to call the police and everything. At the end of the day, it just becomes an investigation." But
Yeah.
1,000%, they sent the money.
Yeah.
We had the home listed on the market. It was one of those scams,
Yeah.
one of those wire frauds. And I remember when Craigslist was really big on those years ago.
Right.
So
Right.
anyhow, I gave them my number. I was like, "If there's anything that comes up, let me know."
Yeah.
She ended up calling me that evening and was just like, "My husband and I were really appreciative for what you did. Can we explain to you our situation? We've got a 480 credit score. Like,
Uh-huh.
we're in a really bad position. We need
Sure.
somewhere to live." That was our reserves. We thought we had a good deal,
Five
and
thousand
I don't know
dollars.
what to do. And there's no realtor who will work with us.
Wow.
And I remember my colleagues saying, "You're an idiot." "You are an idiot. They got
Wow.
480. You are. What you gonna do with that?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, we can't just, everyone has a story.
Sure.
Um, and I did it. It took me 2 weeks, but
Mm-hmm.
I remember, I was able to find them something. I was able to find them something. They were able to get a private rental, a really nice house at that.
Nice.
Um, and everyone was saying I wasn't going to be able to do it. And fast forward 7 years later,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they
Yeah.
bought their first home
Wow.
with
And
me,
they went through you.
and they went through me.
Exactly. Yep.
And I remember, and she just said, "Remember that?" I said, "I remember that." And I
Mm-hmm.
remember my my son was 2 at the time, and and so they were just like, "How's your son?" And they were like, "Oh my God," I used to bring him with us.
Sure.
But they listened. I had a game plan. I was like, look, this is how we're going to have to do it. It's going to have to look like this. You're going to have to let me do the talking. You're going to have to let me do the negotiating. And I need you to be 100% and completely transparent with me.
Right.
But it all goes back to just, we're in the business of helping people. It's not just about the money.
Right.
Everyone, am I saying that this can go for anyone and everyone? No, I'm not. But what I do know is that when you genuinely you put your heart in it, and you put, and actually care for people and their circumstance, it comes back trifold,
Right, exactly.
And I
exactly.
truly believe that.
Yeah.
I've been blessed through my career that at a very young age, I found a career that I love, that actually brings me joy, that I don't gripe about. That is a tremendous blessing. I'm happy. I love what I do. I love my agents. And I love the fact that I'm able to help people, go into their dream homes and, through their journey, because real estate's not just about selling a house sometimes.
Right. That's true. That's true. Yeah. We've got to be priests. We've got to be confidants, social workers from time to time. I mean, it's.
And so, just another thing, I get this question a lot too. People are like, is there any advice that you can give new agents?
Yes.
You're in it for the money.
Yeah. You're in it for the wrong thing.
You're in it for the wrong thing.
Absolutely.
That's the bonus.
Yeah. That's great, Sandy. That's great. Well, look, I really appreciate you doing this interview with me. Tell us how we can reach you.
You can reach me through my Instagram, which is Exit with Sandy. That's on IG. On Facebook, I'm just listed as Sandy Toussaint. I am with Exit Realty, and my cell phone number is 301-768-1462. If you want to text my business card, you can text the Pope of RE at 85377.
Awesome.
My nickname. Yes, they call me the Olivia Pope of real estate because I get it handled.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Sandy. I really appreciate you. I appreciate your time, and best of luck to you, and I'll see you soon.
Yes, thank you for having me, Sam.
Awesome. Thank you, Sandy.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.